Hello everyone, today's lesson is about countable and uncountable nouns. So we'll be discussing the definition and some examples of countable versus uncountable nouns. So a countable noun is a noun that can be counted. For example, we can say one book or multiple books. One book, two books, three books, four books. And in the same way, all other words, tables, umbrella, animals, cities, tree, toy, computer, they all have their plural forms. Whereas in uncountable nouns, we cannot make their plural forms without a measuring unit. We have to use a tool or a measuring unit to quantify them. And these nouns are rain, water, oil, honesty, milk, salt, pepper, money. So we cannot say rains, waters, oils, honesties, milks or salts, peppers or money, right? Monies, because they do not have a plural form. We cannot add s or es after them. If we have to measure them, we'll say a liter of milk, for example, or a pinch of salt, or a pack of salt. So here are some more examples of uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns are substances, ideas, emotions, information, concepts, materials, etc. So that will make it easier to understand what kind of nouns are uncountable. For example, water, milk, honey, rain, all these are liquids and these are substances, so they cannot be counted. We'll call them uncountable. In the same way, all the emotions or concepts which we only have in our mind, for example, love, hatred, kindness, fraud, knowledge, these are also uncountable nouns. They do not have their plural forms. Again, materials, wood, iron, leather, plastic. We'll say a sheet of wood or a piece of wood, a sheet of iron, a piece of plastic or leather, and so on. So here we have some sentences which have the use of uncountable nouns. We'll take a look how we have used the measuring unit with them to measure them. For example, I ate a bowl of rice. So we cannot say rice or rices. We'll use a unit, a measuring tool for them. For example, a bowl. Sarah bought 3 pails of water from the well. So the pails of water are the buckets of water, right? So this is how we are measuring water in the sentence. She bought 1 liter of milk from the market. Can you pass me a pack of salt? So it could be a pinch of salt, a pack of salt, a spoon of salt. So not salt alone. So it will be a pack of salt in this sentence. I'm using some pieces of wood and glass in my art project. The pieces of wood and glass. So the wood and glass, we won't say preferably wood or glass alone. We'll say piece of wood or piece of glass or sheet of glass. Tanya shows a lot of care for her pet. So care is again an emotion, so we'll use a lot of care. Some care, little care. So we cannot use care alone if we are measuring it. We cannot say 1 care, 2 cares. We'll say a lot of care, some care, little bit care. I have some knowledge of photography. So knowledge also has a measuring unit. For example, you can use some, a little knowledge, some knowledge. So we'll be using some with knowledge in the sentence. Or you can even use knowledge of photography, but we cannot say knowledges or 1 or 2 knowledges, right? So this is a concept and this is uncountable. Here we have a brief overview of countable and uncountable nouns. So as we can see, the countable nouns have plural forms. So we can say a book, a pencil, a playground, or books, pencils, playgrounds. Whereas with uncountable nouns, we cannot use a or an. We can use a spoon of sugar, 1 liter of milk, 10 millimeters of rain, a cup of coffee. So we cannot say a coffee, a sugar, or sugars or coffees. So there have to be some measuring unit to quantify them. At number 2, it's a few books, a few pencils. So a few or few only goes with countable nouns, and so does fewer if we are comparing two things, comparing two nouns. So a fewer book, a few books, a fewer pencil, a few pencils. And with uncountable nouns, we write a little instead of few. We say a little milk, a little rain. With countable nouns at number 3, we have many tables, many spoons. So something to be remembered is that many is only used with countable things. So we can say many tables, many spoons, many visits. With uncountable nouns, we say so much, a lot of, to measure their quantity. So it's so much milk, a lot of money at number 3 with uncountable nouns. At number 4, we have some doctors, some friends. So some goes both with countable and uncountable nouns. We can say some doctors, some money, some sugar, some rain. And lastly, more, fewer, how many. More and fewer if we are comparing the number of two nouns. So we'll use more or fewer with countable nouns. I have more friends than you have. I have fewer books in my cupboard. And in uncountable nouns, we'll use more. I have more money than you. I use less sugar in my coffee. While we question, we use how many, because many is used with countable. So how many books you have, how many pencils are in the purse, for example. How many visits you have made to the park. If we have to say something about uncountable nouns, if we have to ask a question about the quantity of uncountable noun, then we'll say how much milk you want in your tea, how much sugar you need in your coffee. Here is a quiz about countable and uncountable nouns. The first question is countable nouns can be counted in numbers. So we have to say if the statement is true or false. Countable nouns can be counted in numbers. Number 2 is uncountable nouns need measuring units to quantify them. Number 3, water, leather, syrup, sugar are countable nouns. We cannot use many, fewer, or how many with uncountable nouns. If we talk about degrees, we say fewer with countable and less with uncountable. Hopefully you have got them right, but we'll just take a quick review. Countable nouns can be counted in numbers, of course, because they're countable. Countable nouns need measuring units to quantify them. That is also true. Water, leather, syrup, sugar are countable nouns. This statement is false because all these words are substances or liquids. We need to have a unit to measure them, a measuring unit. For example, a pail of water, a glass of water, a piece of leather, a spoon of syrup, a pack of sugar, and so on. We cannot use many, fewer, or how many with uncountable nouns. That's true. So what we use with uncountable nouns? We use more instead of many, and less instead of fewer, and how much instead of how many. At number 5, we have, if we talk about degrees, we say fewer with uncountable and less with countable. So that is false, because if we are mentioning degrees in something, fewer is only used with countable nouns and less is used with uncountable. So it's the opposite way. So that was the end of this countable and uncountable noun quiz. Hope you have learned from it. Thanks for watching.